Hello and welcome to another Wargame Red Dragon video with me, Bubblebox and Silver Raptor, and today I'm going to be playing with the North Korean deck that we did in the deck building videos, and Silver's going to be playing with the Chinese deck that we made in those same sets of videos as well. I'll put a link to those videos in the description below, as well as a link to the decks as well. We're playing with Gaddafi and he's playing with a Russian deck. So basically, I'm going to be heading over to Hotel and Echo pretty much on my own. Gaddafi is going to be heading up to Alpha, and Silver Raptor is going to be heading up the middle here over this bridge. So what am I bringing out? Well, a Chomaho, a command tank. That pretty decent commands, nicely armoured. Will take some quite a lot of punishment from artillery if necessary. I'm also bringing in a whole load of these Hwangshun trucks with their really nice anti-air, infrared anti-air missiles. They contain a load of Bongshong Sus, kind of a medium rifle infantry, no close quarters combat machine gun, but really bringing these in for the trucks more than anything else. Then you don't need to initially bring in any anti-air, don't have to worry about helicopter spams and things, as they immediately open up on a recon chopper and take that out. I brought in some cargoes as well. These are more to supply the Hwangshun trucks than anything else, because although they have got really nice missiles, they fire them really fast and run out really quickly as well. Now the enemy is it's all one player. I think all this is pretty much one player. So he's already got his command down into Echo, as have I, and he's putting a load of infantry in and around his command to protect that. He's also brought a lot of infantry over to just the north of the bridge here, lots of manpads and other types of unit, and you can see my VTT is engaging, but I'll just pull it back because it's getting attacked by these RBS 56 ATGM squad. Did lose one of them, and the artillery starts to come in. Now Gaddafi has managed to get his units across the bridge and over into Alpha. Now he's got a lot of tanks in there already. He's got 4 T-60 72Bs with their ATGMs, 5 in fact, and a bit of recon and some load of Tunguskas. So a nice little push across the bridge. The enemy have kind of let him do it in a way. They've kind of stopped here with a lot of Leopards and some anti-tank weapons like these Milans. Couple of Milans in there as well, but he's just stopped short of the range of these Milans. He's got a Tunguska there firing at, what's it firing at? I'm not sure what that was firing at, but he's got a Harrier F2 and a Jaguar coming in. Has he got his radar turned off? Indeed he has, so hopefully he can take that out with 3 Tunguskas firing at it. Is that going to get away? Wow, gets away. Now Silver Raptor has actually gone through the middle across the bridge with ZTZ-2As, kind of medium tanks of the Chinese, and he's bumped into a couple of tanks there which he takes out, but then they've got these Milans, again the Milans all stuck around in the tree lines here, including the Milan 2 anti-tank squad in the building, and they're going to get some kind of semi-side shots on these tanks and they're going to take them out. There's also a quick reaction with some TOW2s coming in, and so if these, although he takes the Milans out of the building there, the TOW2s are going to finish for these tanks unless he can get some anti-air. He's got this PGZ, but the range on that is only 1,400, so it's not really going to get close enough to those Fennec TOW2s as he pulls back. So normally players don't put a lot of units in this area, sometimes just a command and a bit of AA, so I think Silver Raptor thought they were not going to have a lot, but they had quite a lot of units in there. Although, it's to our advantage they stopped there because we've managed to take control of Alpha. So Gaddafi will continue his build-up. Now, what they have done is come across, I don't think they came down the path here, I think they came across the river, and they attacked us in Gulf, and they took out our command in Gulf. Now, Silver Raptor's trying to put this situation correct as he brings forward more ZTZ-63s, the cheaper version this time, the 40-point version with the ATGM Bastion anti-tank missile, and I bring in a bit of recon to try and spot for him, but we haven't spotted these Legion 90s yet as Silver Raptor brings in another of his commands. Now on the left here, there's not a lot happening. It's kind of a bit of a standoff. I've kind of got all my Boshong-Sus unloaded and into buildings. I've got a lot of them scattered around here, and he's done pretty much the same on the other side of the river, with neither of us really trying to cross the river. He's also got his flanks well protected. He's put all those trucks that he brought the infantry in, he's put in the tree line over here, or he's distributing into the tree line, which is a nice move. He's got some recon out there on our left as well. Now they've still got these Legion 90s in here, and Gaddafi, and Silver Raptor has brought in another command vehicle, the BY-5. It's basically a UAZ that's got amphibious abilities, and there's a little, might be a little bit faster, but it's got amphibious ability. And Gaddafi is bringing in a command for Alpha in a little chopper with a rocket pod to ensure we get plenty of points. Now at this stage, the enemy have got a slight lead, so we do need to make sure we continue the momentum and push forward and not give them a chance to come back or get dug in too heavily. Now what they have done, they've set up a nice anti-tank defence in India. You can see they've got Milans here. They've got some Milans back into the centre of here. They've got a couple of Fennec Tow 2 sitting at the back here ready. A bit of AA, and they're bringing in a bit of artillery to start pounding the positions. They've also got a nice kind of defence in Delta as well, and they've got a nice defence in the trees. So it's going to be quite hard to break them down. Now Gaddafi's just supplementing his forces, I think, in Alpha before he starts to push forward. We've got some HQ-7s, which are basically Crotals, out on the side here to prevent any flank attacks by choppers. There's no navy in this map, but what they do is they come forward with their Legion 90s, and yes, they take some shots and manage to snipe our command for the second time in Gulf. So at least now we know the Legion 90s is there, and in fact I respond pretty much immediately with an A-51 with its guided missile to try to bomb the hell out of those Legion 90s, but they're quite quick in pulling them away. Not even sure if that dropped, did it? Oh, it did drop just there. That was more of a reaction from me than anything else, but they did manage to pull them away, so but at least we know the Legion 90s are in there now. They're also ordering an attack as Gaddafi just puts forward some Spetsnaz Grus to see what's going on ahead of him and to make sure he can see anything that's coming down this road. He can't see pretty much anything here. If I quickly put it to his perspective, I mean, all he can actually see is their Gazelle at the moment. They're also bringing in more anti-tank weapons. Strikers, they're really nice with their swing fire missiles, and more Milans. So they've obviously got a deck full of vehicles and plenty of choppers flying around in the background with ATGM units. But they have still got those Legion 90s. I do bring some Yukyondes back across here to try to hunt these Legion 90s, and Silver Raptor's brought in another of the BY-50s to put into Gulf. This time he's putting it in a different position. Now Gaddafi is wanting to attack this area here because they have actually now managed to get their command into a building and neutralize. They've currently got hotel neutralized, and we've got Echo neutralized. Now I do bring a recon squad over to the left here because I am afraid of getting flanked on the left. But they actually are having the same kind of idea. They're bringing their own recon and infantry over to our left, their right. Not much else happening for a second, but it will all kick off in a minute, believe me. Silver Raptor's got a couple of ZTZs sitting in the trees there, just watching that bridge as they do try to move some Pathfinders forwards to the edge of the sector to see what's going on. Now, I don't know why Silver Raptor moved his BY-50 off of Charlie. I don't know whether it was getting artilleried or what. I'm not sure. But basically, they have spotted my MI4, obviously. Or they have now that they've unloaded their recon vehicle. And they're actually trying to get them into these buildings here, so I can't go across this bridge clearly. Now, my MI4 is going to engage this Bell 204, but there's two more coming up, so that's going to be the end of me, I think. Yeah, I'll try and get away, but pretty much just spin out of control and go down. So Silver's putting his command back into Charlie. Looks like he's lost one of his ZTSs to the Pathfinders. And then AMX is repositioning to try and get some shots on his other ZTS. ATGMs are opening up. That's going to take out that ZTZ if it hits. Oh, I just missed. There's another one going in. He's just pulling back. Yeah, just gets out of range in time. So they've managed to unload their recon on the left here. And we are in a little bit of danger of being flanked because I'm not really concentrating too much on the left-hand side. What has happened though is, unfortunately I did miss it. Gaddafi bombed this area with an IL-102 and a B5, I think, if I remember rightly, and actually took everything out, which gave me the opportunity to move my Boshong Sus forwards to attack this little village here. When I did that, they did move a Leclerc into position to take shots at my Boshong Sus, and they also brought in, as you can see, a Tiger Had to take some shots at my Boshong Sus as well. So although we cleared the village, thanks to Gaddafi's bombs, and we took out their command, the Stormers did survive and took out my Boshong Sus. So I didn't send any more across the river. But for now, we have control of Hotel. Now what we do decide to do here is make a big push on the right-hand side. Although they have set up a reasonable anti-tank defence, but we have got a lot of tanks. But soon we're going to have a lot more because Gaddafi's bringing in some more T-72B1s and T-72Bs. And I'm bringing in the big North Korean tank, the T-90S, basically a T-72 upgrade. But the best tank the North Koreans have got by a long way. Costs quite a lot. It hasn't got an ATGM, but it's got a lot of armour and a pretty decent gun with a lot of AP power. I'm also bringing in a bunch of Shilkers for anti-helicopter support, because once they see these T-90s, I'm sure they're going to bring their Tiger Hads out and whatever else. What was it? What else they got? They've got some TOW-2 missile launching choppers as well. Gaddafi's bringing forward an anti-air chopper, as is Silver Raptor. I've got a gunship going up as well. And once we get all these tanks into position, we can make our move up into India. Now they are bringing in a big tank of their own, well, big-ish tank, not biggest, a Challenger 1 Mark III. I've also bought some Pongay 2s with the radar off, luckily, because there's a Harrier FA2 coming in with its alarm anti-radar missiles. As Silver Raptor brings in 2 Su-27 SKs to try to engage, but evacs them. Nice. Now score-wise, the enemy are actually in the lead by a substantial amount. They're pretty much nearly 500 points in the lead at this point. So we are actually on the back foot, even though it looks like we're in the lead because we're over the river and everything. In reality, we're quite a long way behind because we're 500 points down on them. Now they are moving forward on our flank with a recon unit and some infantry as well, which we can't see and I haven't noticed. But the tanks are getting up into position, as are the Shilkers. And you can see Gaddafi, when he sees the Challenger 2, he starts to engage. Now he pushes forward his T-72Bs. First of all, he's got a lot of them. He's got 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got a couple in reserve here. I split my T-90Ss down and start to move them forward. Now, unfortunately, he's getting some side shots from this Milan over here, which isn't doing him any good. And they do start to artillery his Tunguska because they're bringing in a couple of Fennec TOW2s. However, his front tanks are doing a good job. They're moving forward and they're causing the Challenger 1 Mark II to pull back. Now the Fennec TOW2s come into position but get taken out by the Tunguskas. So the T-72Bs are now engaging the Milan anti-tank weapons and the Leopards, which they take out nicely. There's still another Milan anti-tank weapon there, another one there. Now he pulls his T-72Bs back, and I put my T-90Ss forward so they can take the hits from these anti-tank weapons in the front armour as the Challenger starts to move around as well. And you can see that T-90s making mincemeat out of these weakly armoured anti-tank weapons. They have to commit their Challenger 1 Mark III now as the Striker starts to open up at my T-90, which is going to get one in the face if it's not careful. I just pull back when I see the Striker a little bit and try to get some shots off as Gaddafi moves forward again with his T-72s. He's got his Tunguskas in the back here. A Tiger Had comes out of the spawn point. It's going to try and slow down his T-72s. They're all going to fire on that Striker. That Striker's going to go down surely. In fact, they're not quite in range yet. I've tried to bring forward my Pongay 2s. Now they're firing and the Striker goes down. Tiger Had is in position. Unfortunately, the Tunguskas aren't quite in range of that Tiger Had yet. And one of the Tunguskas has been stunned. So we need these Shilkas to catch up. Unfortunately, the Shilkas are a bit slow. They are effective if in range, but they're a bit slow as another Fennec TOW2 comes in. I'm bringing my Pongay 2s forward as well with the radars turned on now. He's got some Coyotes, Bush with the Bushmaster opening up on the Spetsnaz Grus as well. I've still got 2. Have I still got all 3 T-90s? Does the T-90 gone down? No, I've still got all 3 of my T-90s. So I'm kind of trying to micro backwards and forwards a bit, keeping them out of the way. Jaguar comes in, attacks my Pongay 2s, but the Pongay 2s take some shots. And a Shilka actually, I think, takes out that Jaguar. So Jaguar Harrier GR7 comes in, but Silver Raptor's brought in his Su-27 SKs and takes down the Jaguar. Very nice. So the tank push continues. Still got our Tunguskas coming forward with some infantry in support, and the Spetsnaz Grus going to engage with those diggers. The T-90s are still on the job. Should be able to deal with these Leopards quite easily as Gaddafi flies over the MiG-25. Check for any radar. A Harrier comes out immediately, but there's an Su-27 there. Attacks, takes out the Harrier, and is now chasing down the MLU, which it just gets away and unfortunately gets taken out. But the push continues. We really need this base. The enemy still 500 points in the lead. T-90s pushing forward into their Leopard 1A5s now. Chieftains have come out as well, but they're no match for the T-90, but they do bring out a Leclerc, and that is a match for the T-90s, although I've still got 2 T-90s, but there is another Tiger Had coming in from the left-hand side. We've still got our Shilka, but both Tunguskas are gone now, so we're getting a bit short of AA. The Pongay 2s are pretty much, well, they're out of ammo. So we just need to get rid of this Leclerc. We need to get rid of the command, and we've got to steer clear of the diggers. They'll take shots at those T-90s. There's a Tiger Had. Still, the T-90s are still alive. Looks like we've lost our choppers. Oh, bringing up my gunship. Could do with these choppers up in the battle as well. Getting a bit low on units now. I just need to find. I'm hunting for the command. I can't see it just yet. The Leclerc is pulling back a bit too far. They should have left it out in the open a bit. There's a TOW2. Going to take some shots at my T-90 as my T-90 sees the command gets taken out. That TOW2 is actually firing down this way as the gunships come in and start taking some shots at the diggers. The T-90S engages the diggers and needs to pull back, because that's going to get attacked by the heat rockets from the diggers, as it is doing, and the Yokidays need to engage the diggers. Gunships opening up on the Leopard as my lost one T90, but I've still got 2 left. Gaddafi finally brings forward his Mi-24V to try to protect us from any choppers. And also opens up on the Stolly as my Yokidays go in. Now I do bring forward, try to get down an infantry containing chopper, an infantry command chopper. My other T-92's 90S has gone down. I've only got 1 left now. The Pongay's been refueled, which is lucky because it looks like all my shilkers have been killed apart from 1 back here. Gaddafi's bringing in some extra infantry to help out. A couple of quite a lot of extra infantry. Silver Raptor's a bit far back with his Su-27s. Need them a little bit closer. Shilkers here and Choma Hose are brought up. The Choma Hose, not the best tank in the world, but the second best that the North Koreans have got for sure after the T-90S. Managed to get rid of that recon squad there. So the enemy still got a reasonable little lead, but somehow, I'm not sure how, they've managed to take out that command from Gulf yet again. Oh, in fact, it's the infantry squad that flanked us from the left has managed to sneak in and find that command for the 3rd time and has taken it out. They've also got a sniper squad in here who's spying on everything that's coming in through our spawn point. Now what I have managed to do is bring up the command in the Mi-8, so we'll try and drop that off as Gaddafi moves forward with his Mi-24As to try and give me a bit of support. In fact, it's doing a good job. They're managing to overwhelm that Stormer, and they might even take it out. Indeed they do. There's also a B5 flying around there for some reason. The Z9 has spotted it. Leclerc is getting a couple of shots off on it. Leclerc's actually got his weapons off for some reason. It's managed to hide itself. But now we've got control of Alpha. We just need to spew out a few units. And what I decide to do is get a load of Choma Hose out. Just spam out the Choma Hose and try to push them up. Now we are still behind by about 400 or 500 points. Looks like the enemy are now being engaged by my, is that mine? Yeah, my Yokion days. They're trying to get rid of those FSKs, and Silver Raptor's got some Lijuans in there. Hopefully we'll finish them off. But they've still got that squad there spying on our base. The Choma Hose start to move forward. Now I'm not worried too much about losing a few units because the main thing here is that we keep the momentum going in this attack as far as we can. So I bring out a whole load of these Choma Hose and a bunch more Shilkers. The biggest problem with the Shilkers is they're slow, only 40 kilometers an hour. The Choma Hose are actually a lot faster at 55 kilometers per hour. So they do have trouble keeping up with the advance, but it's pretty much the only kind of AA I've got apart from the Pongays. That Leclerc is still sitting there. It's got its guns turned on now though, at least. And they're pulling back their other Leclerc, trying to save that. And setting up kind of a defence, hopefully, over here. The Centurion Marksman came in. That's going to do for that Mi-24, unfortunately. A load of, they're just little trucks. They've got a Stormer. Challenger 2, that's quite nice. And a TOW 2 in the background there. Again, not a lot happening in this centre. The Lijuans are now engaging the FSKs. Should finish for them. But now the Choma Hose are on their way towards Juliet. And I think to stand a chance of winning the game in just 15 minutes left, we do need to try to take Juliet as quickly as we possibly can. BTR full of infantry just got destroyed there. Now they do start to move forward, or this chap, whose name is Tame Fury, starts to move forward with the Marine Jagers. He just stops when that Mi-6 comes out, but that Mi-6 can't see that at all from there. But we're moving forward. We've got a Fabeo, takes out the Challenger marksman there. As 2 MLUs come in and attack the Fabeo. As 2 Su-27s come in and attack the MLUs. So the Fabeo goes down. The Su-27s have taken 1 MLU out. And they're going to make a turn and attack the other MLU. And they manage to take it out. Very nice. Very nice. As the Stormer takes a shot at them and misses. And the Chomahos still making their way forward. Silver Raptor has brought out some more ZTS-63-2s. And Gaddafi some more T-72B1s. Again, they bring forward the Fennec TOW-2s. I have got an OSA back here, which should help us out a little bit. 2,800 meter range against choppers. Take out there. Take it down immediately. Now, the good thing about the this deck we've got here, or these units we've got here, is we've got a lot of them. They're not the most powerful tanks in the world, but we've got a lot of them, which I kind of is what the Chinese North Koreans are all about, I guess. There is a Leclerc. As soon as those leopards came out there, you can see they're getting destroyed because these Chomahos, very close. They've got kinetic rounds, so the closer they are, I believe, the more damage they're going to do. And you can see they're really close to these leopards. The leopard's not standing a chance. The Leclerc there is doing the best it can. It's very well armed, of course, but it's up against overwhelming numbers. Shilkas are still trying to catch up with the attack as Gaddafi brings in some of the old T-80s and I bring in a couple more gunships. So the push goes on into Juliet. And all we're doing now, we're going to CV hunting the Juliet. Now this is their last spawn point. So if we can get this with still 12 minutes left, we have a good chance because the enemy's still got a 300-point lead. The gunships come in to engage this Leclerc. Now they have got some Mistral man-pads sat there, which are going to take some shots at these gunships as they do. Chomahos are opening up. The gunships are now stunned, unfortunately. One gets taken out. The other one manages to get a missile off, but then gets taken out, unfortunately. The Leclerc gets away, but the Chomahos are still moving forward. That Crotal is trying to come and refuel at the fob, but that's going to get taken out if he's not careful. Got some more Tunguskas and stuff coming up the rear. We need a few more tanks probably to take this out, or maybe a bombing run. I have brought in some T-34s to try to find the command in Delta, but I don't know that these diggers are here, and these T-34s will get taken out if they get too close to those diggers. Now they are moving their recon squad around the back here. He's having a look at the tree line here. He's having a look to see if my command's there, basically, first of all. Chomahos now engaging the Leclerc, are they? Or maybe they're firing at the Crotal, whatever. They're dead. So the our attack's petering out a little bit, but we've got more tanks coming up the rear here. More ZTZ, some T-64 BVs from Gaddafi, and a command from me, which I really want to get just on the corner of the zone here. So a big bomb there, a big bomb. I'm not sure who dropped that. I missed it, but it was a big bomber, and it's taken out their command from Juliet, which is exactly what we wanted to do, or it might even have been the artillery, but I think it was a bomb. So I just need to unload my command and get that thing into Delta as soon as possible. My T-34s, as I was afraid, have run into the diggers that have unleashed their heat rockets and destroyed most of my T-34s in there. I don't know where that cargo's going as it gets captured. Now they have moved their recon into those trees but not found anything because my command's hidden up there. I do send in a bunch of gunships. Again, I am spamming a bit with this North Korean deck, which is pretty much all it's good for. As a B5 from myself comes in after my T-34s have all been killed and drops a bomb and destroys the command and a bunch of infantry in Delta. So that's another command down. So in fact, now they have no spawn point at all. And the only command they've got is the one on Echo, I think. We've got 9 minutes left and we have just about taken the lead. So the gunships are going in, managed to take out that Crotel just by kind of overwhelming them again, although the gunships are now pretty much out of ammo. Got a lot of tanks and stuff coming in from Gaddafi, now moving down in towards this part of Juliet and towards Delta. Now what the enemy are doing here, you can see this guy has picked up this Lynx from the back here, because he did have actually two commands, one here in the corner and one here in this corner, and he's picked one up and he's going to try and flank and get a command into Foxtrot by the looks of it. But we're continuing, we've got the command onto Juliet now, so we can get units out into Juliet and we can try to destroy enough points to attempt to win this game. At the moment it would be a draw if it finished. Now what they do now is move their Marine Jaegers, which are their sniper squad, up, and they're pretty much hunting for our command, which is just up ahead there. So they spotted our command and they open up. One of their snipers though gets taken out immediately, but Gaddafi decides to make a run for it, which is a natural reaction if your command's been spotted. You want to make a run for it, but they have got a Lynx over on the left hand side here, which opens up on these infantry. So again, Gaddafi tries to just pull them to the side a little bit, but they're coming in with their Lynx and their Marine Jaegers and this a bit of artillery moving in there, as they're linked here with their command is going to land in the corner of Foxtrot. So the Lynx manages to get into range and opens up at Gaddafi's little command squad that's scuttling away. In fact, I'm not sure what that Lynx is. The Lynx is actually firing at the MI6s. Okay, that's fine. But they do manage to get their command down and then start bringing a load of units into Foxtrot. They've kind of given up on their spawn points and they've decided to use ours instead. So again, the scores now very, very level. 7 minutes to go. There's an Mi-24V. There's a bit of a response from Silver Raptor and from Gaddafi here, as the enemy bring in a bunch of manpads which are going to open up at those choppers and take out the Z9A first of all, probably, if they can get another salvo off. They've also got a Del Noir out with its little auto cannon which takes out those choppers, and then the Mi-24 is taking shots at the Lad Javelins, but there's 4 sets of them and they get their manpads off and take out the Mi-24. So the enemy have now got a little foothold into Foxtrot and are starting to bring their units in there. So now we have another problem of getting them out of there. Now Silver Raptor responds by bringing in a bunch more of his ZTZs with their Bastion anti-tank gun missiles, but it's really the main gun they'll be using against these weaker guys here, although they have brought in another Milan and a Leopard as well. We do continue to push a little bit here. Gaddafi has decided to kind of come round and try to mop up units in and around Delta. Now what I think it was either Gaddafi or Silver Raptor did do while I wasn't watching is they dropped a massive bomb on the corner here from one of their planes, probably a B5 or a 102, and destroyed the enemy command in Echo, which means the only command that the enemy have got left are these two commands that are now sitting in Foxtrot. Now I bring in another B5 to try and bomb some of their units, but unfortunately it gets stunned and then gets taken out. But I do bring in an A51, which doesn't do a lot of good because it doesn't really kill infantry. But Silver Raptor, on the other hand, is bringing in a load of ZTSs and a load more ZTSs. So we're going to again try to pretty much overwhelm these guys with masses of cheap tanks. In the meantime, Gaddafi is coming back across the river with his units. So they've kind of done a full circle here, or in fact these ones are probably fairly new. They're probably coming from the spawn point and their base, and they're coming back across the river to help out in Foxtrot. So I bring out a load of T-34s, as you can see, and Gaddafi bringing in a couple more of his T-80s. Another B5 coming in from myself. This time we might do some damage. If it dropped. Did it drop? Yes, it did, but in the wrong place. Never mind. So you can see Silver Raptor's got his ZTSs out now. And they're about to engage, but they have got their ATGM Milan F2s there. So they're both opening up on each other, and that missile's going to miss. Oh, nice. Take out the ATGM squad, but they're bringing in another ATGM squad from the spawn point, which takes out that ZTZ. So they are desperately trying to defend this final command, as they can still get a draw. There's 3 minutes left. But there's a lot of tanks heading their way, including the T-34 Spammage, which I'm hoping will get there on time. And Gaddafi's T-64s have made it into the battle as well. Should take out these Lad Javelins and that Chieftain. They should have, I think they've got ATGMs as well, which they're firing off. They can actually fire these on the move, by the way. The ZTZs are now in on the battle. We still haven't spotted their command. Gunships are coming in. 2 minutes left. Got a load more gunships coming in from the other side. Enemy just bringing in what they can, but now the stab has been spotted and Gaddafi moves in with a T-72 and Silver Raptor with a ZTS. My T-34s have just arrived when the last command gets taken out. So I think that was quite a nice game, and it did show off most of the units that we put into the deck building videos for the North Koreans and the Chinese. A lot of the units that they tend to use if you have those decks as national decks or as combined decks, I suppose. It's a nice little game. We managed to get a bridgehead at the start on the right hand side, or Gaddafi did, which really helped us out. And there was kind of more of a stalemate in the middle where I was, with nobody really pushing forward, which often doesn't happen on that type of a map, but did this time for some reason. Managed to get big tank push going on the right hand side and swamped across on their base, and they kind of flank attacked us at the end, but it all ended up good because we managed to get all their commands out and just about get the win. So that's about it. I think the next video we're going to do one more gameplay with these decks, or we'll swap the decks around a bit, and then after that we're going to start doing the specialized decks. So if you've got any specialized decks that you want us to do, put it in a message below. I think the first three we've decided on though are going to be Red 4 decks. So we're going to do an airborne deck, an unusual airborne deck. We're going to do an unusual support deck, and we're going to do a Russian armored deck, me, Silver Raptor and Vulcan, and we're going to kind of swap them and do some gameplay and that sort of thing in the next few videos. So watch out for those. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one, and take care.